would help if I started the recording, and we'll switch screens. We're getting back into things. Okay, so welcome back, guys. I realize it's been literally a month since we last played, and I will apologize for that up front. But that is kind of the announcement I have to say at the top of the session. So the reason we haven't been able to meet for a while is mostly, my work has kind of ramped up in present days, and, work is work. So effective this week moving forward, and I don't know how long this will last, but we are moving to an every other week schedule. So obviously we're gonna play tonight, but we will be skipping the 30th, and the next time we will meet is November 6th. And again, this is not me flaking or dying out as a GM. This is literally me. I don't have time to give you guys the level of quality that I prefer in my games. So this is mostly to benefit you guys so that I don't come to the game unprepared. What was the other announcement I had? Oh yeah, the other announcement is if anyone is interested in joining these guys, I did unfortunately lose Mayweather. Mayweather had to drop out for personal reasons. Not related to this group, just other personal reasons. So there is an open slot. If you are interested in joining up the Adiona group, you can. I think I have the link on my Twitter at the moment. I'll try to remember to put it in the comment section on YouTube. But in general, if you're interested, just shoot me a message somewhere and I'll get you the link. But without any further ado,
Let's say for canon reasons, he messed with my Pi replicator and got me pissed off, and I sent him off the ship.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can't mess with the Captain's Pi.
He switched out the Pi replicators for something else on accident.
Yeah, gotta test those airlocks every once in a while, man.
That's what he made pie-flavored pies and made everyone upset.
That's what he gets for fucking flirting with the Q. Send him off the ship.
Yeah, Q has just banished him from space and time. Oh dear. Anyways, Havoc, I believe you have the opening log this time.
Alright, time to screw this up horribly. Lieutenant Mari Johnson, log, stardate 58299.4. Alright, because I've been assigned with the ship scientist to look over this, I might as well make an audio log of our current status. From our expedition into an unknown ship, the crew of the Adiona has extracted plans for a return gravitational catapult stored within. This shall be discussed later in the log. In my professional opinion, though, this neutronium ship is an absolute marvel to look at. And I would have very much preferred a more in-depth search into the ship's guts instead of simply looking for the logs on the computers. There is the possibility that we have missed something very important in this ship, and if I could have, I would have preferred to stay in the ship for an extended period of time and use my Borg implants to my advantage. They are useful for something, but unfortunately I was ordered to return to the Adiona. The ship itself seems to have come from a particularly difficult part of space, where there are a large number of neutronium stars. How many is still not disclosed inside their notes, but from the records we have found, there are enough to give the entire Q continuum jollies for months. On a side note, assuming this galaxy has a Q, I wonder how much this galaxy's Q is having fun with that area with the amount of paradoxes and anomalies it could cause. The more it does not attempt to interact with us, the better for our mission. On to more relevant topics, though. The alien species name has been translated and come out to Muuat. While the Muuat have seemed to be extremely advanced, it is unknown if they have survived to this day, because their ship is incredibly old. The Muuat part of space seems to have had its subspace disrupted by the large amounts of neutronium stars, resulting in our current mode of long-range transportation risky to impossible if we find ourselves there. Why we would willingly go to another neutronium star after the last one and risk another brush with time travel paradox bullshit is beyond me. This extreme instability is the reason for the... sorry, one moment.
The Q got him. The Q, he said the Q. The Q got him.
Q's gonna Q.
Q got me, sorry. This extreme instability in subspace is the reason for the need of the gravitational catapult. which was mentioned before. And while it is possible for us to recreate it in our ship, this mystery ship is of different design. And this may be my paranoia talking, but there's a possibility that the gravitational catapult may be too much for our ship, possibly the launch, or simply will hit something that we can't handle. This is most likely why the Muuat built their ship from neutronium, and clearly has withstood the test of time, though most likely it did not save the internal crew. While I'm quite content with leaving the Muuat's little gravitational catapult on the shelf for now, I'll have to see what the rest of the crew has to say on this matter. That is all the information we have found. Lieutenant Mari Johnston signing out, and log.
Okay, so now that we're all caught up to where we are, I did want to plop us into a senior staff meeting. And yes, again, I am aware I am dropping frames. I think that's Twitch end because my Discord connection is pretty solid. And since none of you were, yelling at me that I'm roboting, I'm assuming it's a Twitch problem. So
Actually, you are stuttering on my end. I'm sorry
am I
to be
stuttering?
that bearer of bad news.
Hmm.
I don't know about anybody else, but you've been stuttering to me since
I'm
you
not-
began recording.
I'm not hearing any stutter whatsoever.
Seconded.
But
Infrequently for me.
Yeah, let's keep pressing on. Worst case.
Oh, I just heard it.
Can you go in and out of Discord?
You might try changing the Discord server region first.
Yeah, I'm gonna change the Discord server region. One moment. Let's see. Put us on South. Okay, we are now on US South instead of US East.
I heard stuttering.
Yeah, you know what? I'm thinking this is my end because I'm noticing a significant drop in packets, and I don't know why. Can you guys at least hear me though? That's the main thing. I can hear you guys fine.
You're audible but broken.
Well, this is disappointing. This is not what I want to have on our comeback episode. Tell you what, let's push through it, and if it gets to a point where I am literally inaudible, I will try other things.
Switch servers back if you can.
Okay, let me switch back.
Maybe just.
All right, let me switch servers back, and if that doesn't do it, I might just have to restart the router. Yeah. All right, tell you what, guys. Obviously, I'm going to leave the recording going, so I guess I'll just blab, but stick around in Discord for a little bit, guys. I'm going to hop offline because I'm literally resetting my router. So I guess Twitch, you're going to go down too, but as I said, the actual recording will still be going. So I will see people in a bit.
Tactical issues are fun.
all right,
You did this.
time for judgment. How bad was that?
All right, well, now we begin the process of everything rebooting. Guess this gives me time to actually get this on stream. Yeah, apologies for tech issues here. Did not expect my connection to crap out literally as the game started, but hey, tech issues, what can you do? Alright, router's back up. Says I'm connected back to Twitch. That doesn't seem right, though. How is Twitch already back through? Let's Let's check the logs of the router, see what's going on. Alright, so the modem is doing its thing. So how you doing, YouTube? Because I think you're literally going to be the only ones who hear this. Always love it when get those occasional comments on YouTube. Make my day. Oh, starting to hear people again. Hello, can we hear me?
Hello.
Yes.
And you have not broken up yet.
Hey, cool. I don't know if I'm live on Twitch again. It says I am, but I have no idea if I am.
You are not.
Okay, I guess give it a little bit and let me know if I'm back up or if I need to start the stream and restart it. Yeah, I looked at all the logs and a whole lot of nothing. So my guess is either line maintenance up the road somewhere, or who knows.
ELH Mark 1 is showing as live, but I'm still getting stream offline from the main page.
Oh, OBS just said it has reconnected, so I'm going to assume it has.
Oh, it just
It has.
Yep,
There we go. All right, cool. Yay,
Confirmation.
tech issues. All
A
right, well,
winner is you.
yeah. All right. So, again, apologies for all that. But as I was trying to say, we are going to drop into a senior staff meeting. And this is just mostly so that everyone can get on the same page, since it literally has been a month since we last played. And so that you guys can kind of brainstorm where you want to go from here. Now, in character, the way we're going to handle Mayweather going missing is he's still going to be an NPC on the ship, and until replaced, he'll be the helm officer, but he's definitely slotted now as an NPC that I am running. So he can still be president in this meeting if you want, but, you know, it's one of those things where he as a helm officer NPC may not have something to contribute, if that makes any sense. Meaning I don't want to lead you guys too much. But yeah, you know, let's just assume that all of you have gathered in the conference room, and I'm going to let you guys run your own senior staff meeting.
Quick question. Did I not merge my program with the ship's computer?
I'm looking at my notes. You
I know I made myself
have
elongated.
not reconnected with the ship, at least according to my notes.
I mean, like with the alien ship.
Oh, that's so you did that, yes, but you did come. Let's assume that you've come back to the ship at this point, or at least are broadcasting your presence to the ship, so that, you know, a holographic representation of yourself is possible.
All right, cool.
All right then. Well then, let's take care of the shindig, Captain.
Alrighty, so officially I'm pushing Mayweather to Gamma Shift. I guess he needs a little bit of management duties, so I'm going to have him watch the third shift. He's done pretty well, but I want to make sure we spin up the rest of the pilots and get them all to the same quality level. So if you don't see any objections to that, XO.
I doubt. I mean, I think one or two might need a little bit more holodeck training, but we'll definitely be ready moving forward.
Alrighty.
Wow, you both got super quiet. Sorry to interrupt.
No,
Hey, tech
let me
issues.
get closer to my log thing here. Well, anybody have any other new business to bring up?
I would just suggest we review what we found. Maybe bring up some questions that might be in the database.
How the bloody hell did that alien race figure out how to fucking make neutronium usable? in
Someone's
ships.
Someone's just jealous.
I'm
But
not
it
More
is-
jealous.
advanced than us.
I'm confused. We tried everything we had against Neutronium and it did nothing, yet somehow these people made an entire bloody ship out of one. Well, a ton of it.
Well, think back to early human society. If you saw me, for example, walking around and phasing through and changing my form, you'd think I was some type of monster, demon, or god.
Well, you are a
Or
monster.
or we shoot it. That has definitely been a thing in human history.
ELH, I'm postulating a question in my mind, and I want to pose it to you.
Okay.
So, we tried our little experiment where we put Andromeda radiation into our little neutronium sample, and it bled out as heat. But
Mhm.
this ship was bleeding out as intense radiation.
Correct.
Could it be a different source that caused this reaction in the neutronium, like say the tachyons that this ship uses to generate?
Why don't you go ahead and roll me a either an insight or a reason plus science, difficulty 1. Also, yay, apparently Twitch was at least solid until I had to kill the router, but hey, look at that. You guys get a momentum. So, I'm going to whisper this to you because I'd like you to reveal it in character because I think it'll be better coming from you than it will from me. Oh dear, what is your character name? Oh,
Right.
that's right. You have both LT. Well, let me see if that gets to you. No, that goes to Mayweather.
How about Discord?
You know what? Yep. Let me just do it in Discord.
Discord, a marvelous device.
It is a lovely device. Let me mute myself so we don't hear my furious pounding on the keyboard.
So if I'm still on the alien ship's computer, I'm projecting myself into this meeting. I just imagine Galen every now and then is moving his hands, doing something that you guys can't see him doing.
Whenever your character does that, my character just gives you dirty looks because she wanted to stay on there longer.
There you go, Merrick.
Waving his hand around. He's accessing files.
Okay, so I see your message, and I'll interpret it. Let's see now. Okay. Captain, I find it interesting that the ship was bleeding an excessive amount of radiation due to some exposure. If I had to think about this a little bit further, since we know that the neutronium reacts to radiation, and there was a mention in the logs of this ship about a veil, as a high concentration of neutronium stars, which would each have a radiation field. Perhaps it is related to this that has caused this particular ship to have its accident and emit the type of radiation that it is.
So, is there a suggestion of a possible plan of action with that?
A consequence, not necessarily an action, but it would be something to be aware of if we wanted to approach or go through this veil. At least with neutronium involved.
Do we at least have the tech needed to set up a sort of monitoring station outside the ship in case we wanted to do some actual tests with our own tech on this stuff? See if it's blocking anything while we move through space before we have to get to the thicker stuff?
Could you clarify your question, please?
What I mean is, if you set up a piece of the hull and some of our equipment to monitor it, can we see if it's actually protecting us from the radiation?
We do have a second shuttlecraft.
No, I mean on the outside of this hull.
I think what
I-
he's saying, if I understand you correctly, I think what you're saying is to um, take the hull, this ship, this derelict ship from the Muuat, and see if it would protect you from the radiation. I think.
Yeah, basically replace one of the outer hull plates with this sample on top of it and sensor equipment underneath to see if we're getting a reaction as we drive around before we go deeper.
You want to see if the radiation from the current ship right now causes a reaction at any other neutronium that comes near it.
No, I mean our ship. We take a piece of this ship off, we bolt it
I
onto ours.
Yeah, I understand. Okay.
That way we can get some real data against our own equipment.
Commander Havoc, do you think we could rig such a feature onto the ship?
Possibly. Possibly. I've been drumming my fingers on the desk, thinking about how to work with your suggestion.
Well, that or anything else that you think might be more effective in determining if we could even use this stuff.
Well, right now, I'd also believe that we'd have to decontaminate it if we wanted to continue to be around it.
Well, either way, if you guys do decide to proceed, EVA is already authorized by me. Just notify us if you decide to go with that action so we could take a break from wherever we're doing. I figured this is going to be a long-term project.
Likely.
Alrighty. And any other new business?
Also, another question for you, ELH.
Sure.
Since I would be scanning the database for various things and such, is there any mention of Andromeda's race, perhaps, in their database?
I would say there is not mention of any other species. And again, since it's been a month, I'll just pretty much go over the big bullet points of what you found so far. So, based on what you know of the Muuat, they come from a area of space that is, as Havoc said, it has a extremely unusual concentration of neutron stars. And while they were able to, technologically advance with neutronium and things of that nature, they can't exactly use traditional warp methods to get around, so they're limited to sublight speeds. And they're the only ones in that sort of area of space, so they've never made first contact before, ever.
Yeah, I understand. They live in an area concentrated by neutronium. Naturally, they would use it, and they live in isolation behind a veil.
Yeah.
How do they use neutronium? I must know!
Well, that might be in their database too.
What's fascinating in our database is this, and Galen will tap a pad, change the little display screen to show a schematic for a return catapult.
Yeah, I saw that.
The return catapult, though, may... If you remember from their logs, they kind of got destroyed by the veil as they went through it.
Yes, organics will.
Lieutenant Zaba,
I
did you
look at-
consult? Lieutenant
Yeah.
Zaba, did you consult with Ensign Mayweather about their actual destination before this accident occurred?
Did, and she doesn't brush away the image of the holographic catapult. I love holographic ships. We can throw images in the air. But anyway, she kind of pushes it a little to the side, and you see that now there is a sort of almost stellar cartography like display above the table. And it shows you a relatively benign, if not boring, system nearby, maybe all of a light year away. And she says if the navigational data we have is correct, they were attempting to get to this system here. It's fairly unremarkable. It's mostly Class D planetoids and other rocks. But after seeing that, and she points at the catapult, my guess is they were simply trying to get to a system with raw material that they could then use for the return trip.
As of this point, we've still been unable to identify how long they've spent on their journey, correct?
It was 50 years, I believe, right?
Oh, no, 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 no. It has been 50 years since the ship has been sitting here, but the actual journey from point A to point B, you have no idea.
Okay.
What's fascinating is space has nothing to really stop this vessel. It's dense. It should have carried forward with its momentum, but something stalled it. I think we should keep an eye out for something else.
Or someone else.
Alrighty. Make a note of its trajectory, backplot it, put a safe corridor around it, and label it as an off-limits area for now until we have more information, just in case we bump into this thing during our travels.
Do we interpret that they passed the veil and then ran into the encounter that killed the crew, or it was the veil
No,
itself?
It was the veil itself from the notes that we recovered.
That's what I thought.
Supposedly the neutronium was supposed to stop the radiation, but when they passed the veil, it just destroyed them all. And Galen, if you notice, most of us are organics, so if something would destroy organics, you'd be out of a crew.
Except for the science officer.
And my brother in engineering.
I don't think you guys can run a ship by yourselves.
Yeah, we haven't enabled the emergency command hologram, have we?
Not
Nope.
that I'm aware of.
Well, what we could do is figure out if this vessel is flightworthy and send it back. We could see the stresses it goes through. For all we know, they didn't have a proper inoculation or shielding. They may have underestimated something or not looked out for something. We may be fine, but we need more information.
Do we have any of the data from their shielding systems, if any?
You do, and I'm actually going to call for a roll here. Galen, you're approaching this from a medicine perspective, so I'd like you to roll me a reason plus medicine at difficulty 2. Merrick and Havoc, I'd like you to roll me a reason engineering. You know what, actually, let's make you an insight engineering. And Merrick, I'd like you to do an insight science, and both of you are also at a difficulty 2. And since you're all approaching it from a different angle, I can give you different information depending on your successes.
Would I have a focus on this?
I believe you would, yes.
Warp field, yes.
Yep, you would.
And it's 2d20, right?
Yes, it is. Remember, if you do it on the sheet, does it all for you.
Yes.
So for me, since I'm looking at the shield, it would protect the biology and xenobiology or anatomy. Do I have more than one focus point for this?
You do. But I don't think multiple focuses get you anything.
I'm a hologram. I'm a specialist hologram, too. And if I'm using medicine, I get a third d20.
Yeah. Well.
Hooray for purposeful.
Yeah.
Well, I got myself a nat 1.
Wow. All right. So you guys get 3.
Wow, guys. Wow.
Nice.
Wait, break. What was the total number of momentum we got on it?
You should be at a total of 4 at the moment.
Oh my god, one go and we just have momentum for days.
It's great. I mean, this is why we're doing the checks. All right, so let me start with Havoc since you rolled first, and we'll go down the line. So, Havoc, looking at the data from an engineering perspective, you see that obviously they didn't use shielding technology because they thought, probably correctly, well, not correctly per se, but it was a very fair assumption, that everything they knew about neutronium would suggest that it would have protected them. You're noticing that the veil that they mention in their log several times, based on what you know from this distance, if they pass that close to a neutron star, either A, there was a time dilation effect, B, they took in way too much radiation for even neutronium to handle, or C, or number 3, I forget what I'm on at this point.
C.
All of the above. Which leads into Merrick. Merrick.
Another time thing,
Yeah.
please.
So Merrick, you're realizing much the same thing as Havoc, but you're also realizing that if you were to send this ship back in the similar fashion, aka flying it back through the veil, you could be basically delivering a neutron bomb back to these people. As in, it would be a moving radiation sort of kill vessel. I'm trying to remember the episode of Voyager. Was it The Void? Where it was that one ship that was just dumping radiation in this big old black void of space, and it was killing
the
the natural
Malon.
things.
Yeah, the garbage scowl type thing. dumping
Yeah,
radiation.
kind of the same deal, except on a magnitude scale that is unreal. Like, this is many, many magnitudes higher than that.
Yeah, you had said that Galen mentioned when we were on the ship that the radiation effects on the ship were magnitudes higher than what we were experiencing.
Right. Which leads me into Galen. Galen, looking at the logs, looking at what you know, the Muuat, you're not able to get a visual of what the Muuat may have looked like. The medical logs here have been rather skimpy. It seems they weren't really a medically focused vessel. And while they had enough for emergency medicine and things of that nature, you don't find the Muuat Grey's Anatomy. But where I'm going with this is that they were specifically, shall we say, resistant in a way to the radiation that the hull is now emitting. Obviously, since it's orders of magnitude higher, it bypassed their natural resistance, but you think it might be possible to replicate that resistance in some way with your organic components on the ship. And by organic components, I'm not just meaning the people, I'm meaning the like bioneural gel packs and things of that nature.
How about Andromeda's suit?
So, if you want to spend a momentum for a question about Andromeda's suit, I might be able to answer it.
I'll use my free question.
Okay. And what is your specific question?
Well, her suit was able to convert that energy into something that she could use to power the suit or heal herself, right?
Correct.
I would wonder if we could convert the energy to something non-harmful.
That would be a good question for Andromeda, but you think it could be possible, yes.
I'll mention it to Galen and get his opinion.
By the way, I have no problem with Andromeda being in any of these missions. It's just usually I figure if she doesn't have any want to be in here, she doesn't have to show.
Well, Galen's probably the next most familiar with Andromeda and her technology and her, biology.
Yeah, but she's the whole purpose we're here, so she can walk in on any meeting anytime we call senior staff, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay. I usually just assume that I give you guys time to, converse as players before I bring in any NPCs. Well, aside from Zava, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, due to the whole mission being based around her, and she's actually helping, I'd consider her honorary senior staff at least for the majority of the mission, just in case something might cross her mind. Because she doesn't remember anything, might as well help her out as much as we can.
Okay. So we'll say, for sake of argument, one or more of you pings her, and she'll be on her way momentarily.
I think it'd be an interesting approach to try and see if we can mimic her suit's biology in terms of protection against this radiation. But from the reports I have, the last time that was attempted, it almost killed the first officer. So, caution is advised.
Interesting.
Details.
And it is about that time that Andromeda walks on in, takes a seat at the end of the table, and says, "Well, I understand we've found something rather interesting. I was actually at 3 Forward looking at it out of the viewport. What is it exactly?"
GM,
Yes. Hi.
I have enough. Since I'm part of the ship's network now, and we're able to call a lot of data, can I get data on how these creatures look like?
That was kind of what I was alluding to, where there isn't like a visual of the species.
Based off of the armor we found.
You know what?
You had mentioned they were silicon based, right?
They are silicon based. If you give me a moment, I'll find the picture I had in mind, but you guys can keep on talking with Andromeda during that time.
But they're not Tholian.
No, they're not Tholian. They're definitely not Tholian.
You know what I mean? Crystalline type
Oh, yeah,
silicon.
yeah. No,
Maybe they're
they
Murnimer.
are an actual species.
Maybe they're not Chenjesu or Murnamherm, right? Or even worse, they're not Shmur.
Not the Shmur.
Shmur.
Not the Shmur.
Alright, the picture's eluding me at the moment, so I'll get it to you eventually.
Yeah, I want to try and make a replication and show her.
Okay. So you do create this image of, we'll say the captain, because as soon as I find this damn image, which I thought I had in here, but apparently do not, that annoys me. Hold on. I'm going to find this image.
Galen, would a sample of the remains help you? Do you recall the ash on the ship? I remember Commander Morgan mentioning that he had tasted ash in the air.
There it is. I found it.
Just
Now
like Ash on Vermeer after I nuked her. Mass Effect reference.
Alright. Let me condense this down so it doesn't kill people's bandwidth. It would help if it was a visible size. I need to remember how to spell Muuat. I believe I did it with 2 U's.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and let me make a handout for everybody. Again, I apologize. I thought I had this already in here, but apparently past me did not see fit to put this in here for whatever reason. Good job, past me. Alright. A few more button clicks, and save changes. There you go. That's what a Muuat looks like. And I'll show it to the stream.
Yikes.
Dormammu.
Ultron.
Xenos.
Yeah, I show that to her. A projection right next to me for my chair.
Mm-hmm.
And just have her look at it for a second. I'm actually trying to gauge her reaction.
Okay. Again, it's hard to tell since you're not an empath hologram. I don't think those exist. And the fact that she is in a full body suit that covers her face.
Body ticks.
You do see there is a small reaction. Her head kind of tilts to the side and says, "Yes, they're familiar, but I can't say why. I don't think this is my species, but I do know them."
Well, I think that's a step in the right direction.
Finally, some progress. All right, that's all I want to hear. Progress.
If this is a species that's familiar to Andromeda, we should check out the world, or at least send a probe.
Do we really want to go near another neutron star considering our encounter with the last one?
I'm no specialist with the cube, but I think that was just a ploy.
Ploy or not, do you think that the Q will let that just sit there and not do anything?
I guess there's only one way to find out that.
And wait, there was a Q? Oh crap, I was right. Wait, what does she look like? I look at the captain immediately worried.
What do you mean? The Q can look like anybody. Does her distinctions really matter?
Well, no matter what form someone takes, they tend to have a personality similar to what they want to have. Everyone has well, let's just leave it at everyone has their quirks.
And hers is science, so be prepared for her to be experimenting.
I give a very, very, very worried look at Merrick and say, "Oh, I feel bad for you. She will talk your ear off, it seems."
How far are we away? Are we from this supposed neutron star source?
So, if you were to pop on QSD, I believe I have it approximately. What is it? It is approximately 1 day's worth of QSD travel.
But wouldn't the neutron stars? Don't mind me.
So to put that in perspective, I'm gonna get an actual light year count for you here. Where's that warp calculator? There it is. So for it to take a day of travel, and I have to put in that many degrees of C.
Also, a quick note, guys, from the QSD notes. 15 minutes a pop at QSD.
Mm-hmm. You know what? Let me reduce that down. That's way too many light years. Let me definitely reduce that down. Let's see. Let's make this that long. Reduce this down. Okay, it is approximately 3,000 light years away, which would be a 10-hour trip in QSD.
Is that on path with our route, our supposed route towards Andromeda's home?
It is not, and I actually do have a map for this because that much I was thinking of. So let's see, where's the marker? There it is. Let me briefly put you here. And you're over here. So, if you see down here, lower left, haven't moved too far quite yet, but in order to get to where you need to go, let's put the circle here, if I can get the right tool for it. You need to get to about that orange circle there. So it is definitely not on your route to the center of the galaxy.
That's the veil. That's the veil.
Yeah.
Or is that
orange...
the destination that they were going to?
No. So the orange is the veil. The Adiona is actually more like here at the moment.
Isn't detours what Star Trek is all about?
Okay, Janeway.
Yeah, tell
Discovery.
Janeway.
There's coffee in that veil.
And GM clarification: our
Yes.
fuel for QSD, is that renewable over time? That's just basically power, correct?
It's not going to be Voyager. Hey, we need to stop every 5 episodes to get fuel, but it's a GM. Eventually, we'll run out of ideas for episodes, and we'll go, hey, you guys should find QSD fuel. So it's sort of a nebulous sort of material that I'm just going to use as a plot device when needed.
Yeah, plot fuel. Okay.
So it's plutonium. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. Well, this is worthwhile scientifically. It's not like we're going to find this back in the Alpha Quadrant at all.
Plus, if we could find out how to make neutronium ships, I think the entire Federation would probably, well, you know.
All right. So as a preliminary task, let's not jump all the way in. Let's jump coreward about maybe half a light year from that location.
Well, what are we doing with the vessel that we're with right now?
Can I attempt to bring the engines online?
You can indeed.
All right. So if you guys have any plans with the vessel that you would like to actually exercise, go ahead and finish those up before we jump out. We'll hold on the jump until everybody's ready.
Are we interested in making it inhabitable for organics?
Yes.
Yeah, whatever
Yes, we
you want
are.
to put it on the roster so we know what we need to check off before we leave, just in case this thing isn't here if we want to come back.
So that would involve Havoc in my grand experiment, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
with decontamination, I guess.
Yep, just keep the XO up to speed on what you want to get done before we jump out.
And then you had a request about, what the reaction is on our ship with this plating. So
Yes, I figured that might take some time to set up, but if you guys want to do that before we jump out, that's fine too. I'm mainly concerned once we start working our way forward, as we start getting more and more radiation, we'll pick up more data over time on how we might be able to use this stuff, if it even helps.
Okay, so I think we got a bunch of things we want to do ELH. It's just a matter of how you want to walk us through it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, XO, how do you feel about putting the entire crew on this until we're ready to go?
I have no objections.
So let it be done. You have the full access of the ship's resources to get these tasks accomplished.
I do want to mention something to you, Captain.
That's fine.
Though
Private or public?
Public, and then I want to speak small privately. But I have figured that probably if we do use the return catapult, we could make it to the galaxy in hours, maybe even shorter. But I still don't know if our ship can handle the gravitational catapult, or if we'll make it through the veil. Sure, the other ship didn't put shields because they never thought of something called Plan B, but still, their ship was made out of neutronium for a damn reason.
Yeah, I agree.
If we could find a way to decontaminate their ship, add shields to it, and then launch, sure, perfect, do it, but we don't.
I have an idea. It's trying to pierce this veil is what the difficult option is right now. The biggest challenge is to go through this, and you're worried about the vessel. If the vessel is the issue, why not send the alien ship first and then follow behind? Tag a ride. Let it take the brunt of the force. The Adiona can stay behind it within its wake, riding.
But also, don't forget that the ship is highly contaminated right now, and will basically, well, let's just leave it at, I don't want to know what happens when you fire a ship leaking radiation everywhere at a planet.
It doesn't necessarily have to be aimed directly at it.
Well, I'll work on the problem of decontamination, and Commander, perhaps you should work on the problem of transporter catapulting us.
We could recontaminate it by re-entry through the veil, and we're back at space one, except we're even worse considering we have a radioactive radioactive ship in their airspace.
I agree.
Which they will most likely come out to investigate and get killed by.
I agree. We could be sending a very dangerous object into the veil or inside it.
Truth be told, I'm actually quite interested in this line of thought. I'm totally willing to authorize you experimenting, at least trying to decontaminate the vessel, because I do not wish to cause planetary genocide via negligence. However, I do believe that is an interesting path worth taking, and I would like it to be explored. But however, it's all depending on how we want to accumulate these resources right now. And right now, I do think that's probably best with going with what the captain has said before, committing the entire crew to this current task. But it is something that we should keep open after it's complete.
Another thought passes for me in that this race has supposedly lived in isolation, but yet Andromeda has some recognition of them. I'm wondering if we could investigate that as well. Why does she know them or feel that she knows them? Did they come out of the veil once before? Was the species forced into the veil? And they're now attempting to get out? Just history, what is the history of this species?
Well, as has been brought up before, time travel could be a thing. This could be their first attempt trying to breach the veil, and they got flung into the future. Previous attempts or later attempts could have made it been successful. And
not to be a pessimist, though, but this could be a prison.
Prison for what, though? Because it's probably not a prison for these people.
A very weird way to be executed.
Very, very strange. I think it would, if they want to be executed, well, if someone wanted to execute them, they'd probably just do it, not make this huge ring of death around them.
How do you easily
Not-
execute silicon-based life forms?
Not to go one way or the other saying that they're evil or not evil. Andromeda's recognition of them is the most important thing, and I'm interested to explore that more.
Yeah.
So at this point, Andromeda speaks up, and I'm now realizing because, tech issues, why not? Apparently, I might have been muted for the stream for the past 10 minutes, so good thing is you guys carry without me, so hopefully stream didn't miss much. Sorry about that. But in any event, Andromeda does speak up and say, in all my years with the Federation, one thing that's been hammered into me is your love of the Prime Directive. I think we need to be careful if we ever do decide to, well, if we're even able to, send this ship back to what every bit of data we have indicates. They've never made first contact at all. So this would be their inaugural first contact, and presumably, based on the plans I'm hearing, it would be because an alien species reverse engineered their technology and came back through the veil. Now, personally, I can't tell you how my species would react to it because I don't know them. But, I mean, how would you feel if something you put a lot of great deal of effort was more or less shot back in your face being ridden by strange creatures?
Beeger.
I understand your argument, Andromeda. I do. All honesty, I kind of be pissed if someone sent my mail back with something attached to it. But if they're attempting to find life outside their, let's just say, local system, I think they would be. Well, I think they would be more or less not as angry as you'd think if indeed they found out, yes, there are friendly life forms who are willing to take the time, effort, and material just to come back and tell them what happened to their first attempt and tell them the exact reasoning for the fault and give them some information. Admittedly, they may have abandoned all attempts after this, which would lead to a very awkward situation.
Their crew was planning to return themselves.
Indeed.
Right. I'm going to belay all of that right now. Nobody's talking about going through that barrier. All I want you guys to do is strip as much information off this thing as you can. We'll worry about this other stuff when we get to it. But for now, we're not going inside the veil until we know absolutely everything we need to know about this ship and how it functions. Is that clear?
Understood.
Very clear.
I confer with the captain.
Alrighty, let's get started with this stuff. Then we can worry about all the what ifs later.
All right. So, I mean, unless anyone has any other points of order, I think that's the captain saying,
Yeah, focus.
Just a small curiosity question that we might have learned. The shuttle bay that we entered, there was no shuttle in it?
Nope.
Do we know that one left?
I would say the logs on that matter are decidedly missing.
Okay, thanks.
I dematerialize back to the alien ship.
I actually motion to have Andromeda talk to me privately after this.
Okay.
I have something I want to discuss with her.
Okay.
I head down to my lab and start figuring out a plan.
Yeah, it's, I guess I'll dismiss the briefing, and then somebody had something for me private.
No, I actually said I meant to talk to Andromeda privately.
Oh, Andromeda. Okay,
Yeah.
Alright, so, everybody but Havoc and Andromeda filter on out. And it's just you, Havoc, and Andromeda.
Here comes some interesting things from the first episode. Alright. I cross my fingers and take a few seconds to breathe in and out before looking at Andromeda, and I simply state, so, when I first got on this ship, I checked every single camera. every single one to try and find who or what we were getting into this galaxy. And I didn't see you on any of them. At all. How did you get on the ship?
I think you'll find that my years at the Daystrom Institute taught me a few secrets about how to hide my presence.
You don't hide from every single camera. We have cameras everywhere.
I'd like to quote a famous event, and she uses famous very dryly there, even if I don't. On the Enterprise D, where Worf was unaware of the captain being taken, the one time, and she goes into the list. Like, unless you stop her, she will go through all 200,000 times Worf was unable to protect the captain on the Enterprise D.
After she stops, I simply state, "Wow, how did that guy not get fired?"
She just shrugs. She has no idea.
Also, I'm finding it very, very, very hard. Okay, I'm gonna lay you on something. I have a tough time trusting anyone I can't see, who I don't know the face of. So, can I see what you look like under that?
Maybe one day. But I think you'll find that that sort of thing is a private matter. Something
Fair
that
enough.
is very special among my people.
Fair enough. At the very least, you don't have robotics poking out you that you'd ever want in your body. I slowly get up and begin walking out the room before stopping and saying, "Also, just so you know, I'm very, very interested in what that suit can do. If possible, could you send me maybe a schematic or something? I want to see if that could be useful later on."
She picks up a pad, puts her fingers on it, and you see the fingertips glow a light purple. And then she kind of lobs the pad over towards you and says, "There you go. It's everything I've given Galen up to this point."
I catch it and leave while reading the notes.
All right. So, I'm not really sure what map to put us on for this to start doing things. So let's just chill on Theater of the Mind for a little bit. So, what would the first task you guys want to do chronologically? Or who would want to go first here?
Let the XO decide.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful.
Well, the captain will take over some of the XO's paperwork while he's busy overseeing all these projects.
Well, the first thing that I really necessarily want to dial in down is the QSD travel. We need to try to figure out how to get there first.
Okay. Let me do that via Mayweather, and I'll say he'll be working on that for a couple hours. But I won't do any rolls. That way you guys won't lose momentum or I won't gain threat. I'll just give you that information after some other tasks have been done.
Very well then. Then I guess, well, you got such a laundry list of things. Well, I think the second thing that we should get in order is to at least let's get a few of these experiments done. Have Galen and the doctor probably continue work on their work as we're prepping to head towards the Veil.
Okay. I guess my major question here is, would you all be going to basically use a return catapult here? Because I do have a bunch of extended tasks ready if you do, but I can modify them if not.
I'd accept the risk, yeah, by all means.
Sounds
I think
like
the
havoc.
I mean, it sounds. First of all, I know if we didn't, Havoc would yell at me. But secondly, I do think it's important, at least, if we could determine the actual structure and the safety of the catapult towards the ship, then the data that we could glean for it is far more important than anything else if we traveled conventionally.
Okay. So in that case, I'm just going to show you this map maybe a little bit early, but this is basically what you would have to do in order to recreate the return catapult. And as you can see, there are 4 extended tasks here. You can complete them, well, the bottom one you can complete at any time, but the top 3 have to be done top to bottom. And I will say if you're able to complete those, you will have a functional catapult you could aim in any direction.
How long would it take us to complete all these tasks in order?
That is the key question. I would say it is going to be, let's see, each task or each role you guys spend on attempting to do these extended tasks, each attempt, even if you fail, will be approximately 3 days.
Well, there's no time like the present. Might as well get started now.
All right. So before we actually start doing these extended tasks, though, I did want to answer some science-y engineering questions based on your experiments. So let's treat this like a free momentum question in that I will let you guys get a single answer from each of your experiments for free, and if you want any more, we'll actually do a roll for it. So what experiment do we want to tackle first?
I want to do the radiation.
Okay. And specifically, what are you looking for?
Way to incorporate the absorption or the negation of the radiation that these creatures are able to produce, as you mentioned with the bioneural gel packs.
Okay. So, again, this is your free question, and if you want more, we'll do a roll for it. You think, based on what you know of the Muuat and what you know now of Andromeda, and I guess a little bit of Starfleet tech in general, if you were to essentially lace the hull with multiple shield generators and you were able to synthesize nanomachines on the level of, I would say, a macro scale, then you would be able to coat the hull in the same material that keeps Andromeda safe. And as a reminder, though I don't think any of you but Galen knows this in character, Andromeda has gone through the Great Galactic Barrier. So her suit can take a hell of a lot of punishment.
Interesting. I will then look for Andromeda. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you'll find Andromeda, or either in sick bay or wherever you choose to meet her.
Yeah, sickbay works.
Okay. I'll get you there eventually, but you can go ahead and start the scene.
I want to make sure sickbay's cleared. Just me and her talking.
Yep.
And I want to initiate isolation protocol.
Okay.
Sickbay is sealed from the rest of the ship, and I am making sure nothing is being recorded.
All right. So Andromeda just kind of, if you could see her face, she'd be raising an eyebrow, but she doesn't seem to give any indication that this bothers her.
I want to make sure this is in complete privacy. I don't want any records of this. Considering the request, I need a lot of your blood.
My blood?
Specifically, the nanites. We have a possible theory to protect the ship.
Go on.
Well, your body seems to absorb the radiation and turns into fuel. I'm going to attempt to stimulate that response and get the nanites to start rapidly reproducing. I want to try and potentially protect the ship with a very thin layer of nanites.
It's a reasonable assumption. And it is something Starfleet would be very much interested in if you could get it to work. My only concern, Doctor, is that up until this point, nobody at the Daystrom Institute was able to, well, replicate on the scale that you're talking about.
I think it's because they did not have the radiation of this galaxy. I believe this is, well, your home galaxy for one. The radiation seems to be what's been nourishing you. So, potentially, and if this works, we could protect the ship. The other concern, and the reason why I'm doing this in this manner is, I don't want there being a record of the process. If it does work, I want it to be just within my program. And if anyone tries to compromise me, I will delete it, along with everything else of B.
Do you think the captain will go for that?
Well, it'll be interesting, but he wants to keep the crew safe and the ship safe. So, as long as he doesn't go asking questions about the process, it should be okay. Doctor-patient confidentiality, after all.
All right, how much do you need?
How much can you spare?
She just kind of looks around for a vial and picks one up and does the equivalent of putting the hypospray to her arm, and two begins to fill up with a viscous purple liquid. And she fills 2 tubes of the stuff and hands it over to you.
Excellent. How long would you need to recover before, if I make a mistake, I have to ask for more?
Oh, that is just a paltry sum of what I can offer, but I'm hoping that much will be able to sate your questions.
Well, this will be definitely interesting. Thank you, Andromeda, and I do apologize for asking about this. This is treading a very fine line of harming an individual, and that goes against everything I believe in.
I wouldn't have given it to you if I thought otherwise.
Thank you. If I could say it, I would say thank you from the bottom of my heart, but it's just a bunch of photons.
Yeah, I always heard good things from Janeway's doctor, but
He does love music. That's where I got my taste for it, too.
all right. So, Doctor, you are now going to be making a roll for the extended task of solving the radiation problem.
Alright.
And I guess I will throw us all the way back on that screen so you can see what you're working with. But you are working with a difficulty 5 extended task. Its magnitude is 4. The resistance is 2. And the work track is 15. And for you, because you're approaching this from a medicinal perspective, at least for this first step, it will be a daring plus medicine, because you're applying a radical new theory of how to apply her nanotechnology. And yeah, what would you like to be rolling here?
I need to know this for focuses. Genetic engineering, xenobiology, cybernetics.
I will say cybernetics and xenobiology would apply best.
Excellent. Also, I did have one here. I'm not sure if it makes any difference. Macro microbiology.
I would say, since you're going from one to another, that would also apply, yes.
Alright, so, but the first two are good. That's good to know. Am I having anyone assist me with this?
No, unless you want to bring them into the fold of what you're doing.
Oh yeah. Well, Andromeda can at least help, right?
Sure, you know what? I'll let Andromeda help you. And I'll
Yay.
roll for Andromeda.
Alright. And daring medicine.
Daring medicine.
I get 3 dice because I got 2 focuses that apply. Oh man, should I use a determination?
Well, you do gotta beat a difficulty 5.
Do it.
Yeah, I'll use a determination. See, to never give up if there is even the smallest chance.
Okay, and I'm assuming you're doing it for the 2 automatic successes?
Yes.
Okay. And how much momentum / threat are you spending to roll additional dice?
2 more, because since my third dice counts as a buy, I'm gonna. Yeah, daring. This one.
All right, so you guys are going to be down to 2 momentum.
4 dice with 2 automatic successes, and 1 more momentum for cautious medicine.
Okay.
I can re-roll if I fudge up somewhere.
I'll say since it's been a month, you guys can have your determination back. It's not a big deal.
And here goes. Ha. Oh, yes, focuses.
Hey, there's 5. Let's see if Andromeda helps you. All right, so I believe you're at a grand total of 2 momentum at the moment.
2 momentum, yeah.
All right, so now you need to make the actual task of rolling the work die here. So you need to now roll me 2 plus your medicine score, so a total of 7 challenge dice.
Since
And
I
remember... Oh, go ahead.
Since I did declare cautious, can I just re-roll that 0?
Yeah, sure. Why not? See if you get any more momentum. Can't hurt.
Hey, there we go. We're at 3 momentum then.
Cool. But yeah, it's going to be a 7 challenge die, and it is a resistance 2.
Do you want to spend momentum to knock down the resistance?
Sure.
All right.
But that's all we're gonna do to spend momentum because we still got a bunch of extended tasks to complete.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so do you have any talents that affect your extended task work done?
The only thing I can see that I'm not quite sure on is quick study. That's it.
No, quick study would not affect you here. Quick study is something completely different. Quick study is, if I remember correctly, you don't take a penalty to unfamiliar medical procedures or new species.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
That's right.
Then I got no talent for this.
Okay, so that's just going to be 6. You spent the momentum to do piercing 2. So that is just going to be 6 work done, which is enough for a breakthrough. So increase that bar by 1. Increase this bar by 6. And you're on your way. And as I said, that's going to take you 3 days worth of work. So we're going to cut to someone else. So who would like to go next?
I'd like to make the suggestion that Captain take Darren, and he might be able to do the construction work. Can we pull in supporting characters?
You can certainly pull in supporting characters, yeah.
Would someone like to utilize Darren?
The chief petty officer.
Since that ops book came out, I made him, I changed him around just a little bit to be, what do they call it? Corps of Engineers.
Am I getting the right character?
If it's the
Darren
bullion,
Namar.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to send out Darren to start the mining process, well, go ahead.
Actually, I was thinking of taking Sarusa for the mining. She's the geologist.
Okay. Let's see. So let me just pop these down so I remember.
But Darren, I think, has the construction type stuff. He's an engineer.
Yeah, manufacturing, construction.
Trying to find your other supporting character that you mentioned. What was the name again? The geologist.
Yeah, she's the snake, basically.
Oh, is she
the
Saurian? Okay. There she is.
JG Sepra.
Yep.
Serpa.
All right, and I'll just this for a stream in just a little bit. There we go. Okay, you know what? Let me actually just start throwing tokens on here so we can see what people are doing. Let's see. So Galen, you're down here. Okay, so we have those two working on, or at least her working on mining. And until that's complete, the senior chief petty officer can't really do the next bit. But yeah, if
No,
you
I can assist either one of them or anyone really. I think.
all right, well, I mean, it's up to you. I will say that sending your shuttles, you're going to have to send everything but your fighter craft out there to help you, and it will increase the resistance by 1 if you do it just via shuttlecraft. If you were to take the Adiona over there, it would be resistance 0.
I'm just wondering for a task for myself. Are we going to try to salvage the derelict? Make it operational. Is that still in the works?
Well,
I would
as far as
say-
I'm concerned, that ship is pretty much salvaged at this point. So once we try to pull any data off it, if there's nothing more we can get from the ship's data or anything else, the whole ship is recyclable as far as I'm concerned.
I meant, do we want to make it operational? It was operating. It just contaminated.
Yeah, and I think that's again, it's been a month, so that's okay. The key distinction here, Captain, is it's a functional ship as long as you put in the repair work. You just have to decontaminate it.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Which way I would go would depend on whether or not it's successful or not. Because if it's still contaminated, there's no way I'm putting crew on there.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
All right, so I'll take on the task myself of decontaminating the ship.
Okay, so that's going to be under solving the radiation problem.
Small question.
Small answer.
Would I be considering I could get into a suit to help deal with the radiation because I have been on that ship once before? Would I be cleared to be able to enter the ship considering I am pretty much, I think about 50 something percent robot at this point?
Let me think. I would say
Can we give her a personal force field?
Well, I'd say it's based off a medical scan after she comes off, whether she's resistant to it or not due to her Borg plants. If her biology is the same as everything else, she has the same rules applied.
let's do this. You can certainly attempt it, but if you roll any complications at all, something's going to happen.
I stick her in the neck with anti-radiation mixture and hyperspray.
Well, I mean, something a bit more drastic than that, but yes.
Well, yeah, I'm just stating what the rule on it would be with the captain. It's like she's
Dang,
cool. If you think you got more resistance, show me medical data that shows you are, and I'll let you on longer. But the doc says you can only be on there so long before you're unsafe to yourself. So that's the limitation. That you have to convince the doc you can stay on there safely.
Darn not taking the Borg feat that literally makes it so instead of dying, I can give the GM threat and just regain 3.
I mean, eventually I'd probably say no to that even if you did take it. But
But that would be amazing. It's
Yeah.
like, you die from radiation. No, I don't. Damn it.
yeah. Okay, so I've got Merrick on there. I guess Havoc, you're down here as well. That just leaves, well, I believe that leaves the captain and the commander. I mean, obviously, if you guys want to live vicariously through an NPC, just say so, and we'll get them on this chart here.
Well, I think if everything has been properly delegated, I'd rather be hands-on.
Okay, sure. So where would you like to be helping out?
I mean, we have so many senior officers start solving the radiation problem already. So,
I also have warp
I mean-
field. I have warp field dynamics, so I can go into the reactor as well. So you can move me up, ELH.
Well, it's one of the things where you can't do the reactor until you do the mining and the constructing.
Ah, okay. Well, then I'll do my best to assist one of the first two.
I guess the captain, if he's not needed for anything else, wouldn't mind assisting him to help get some of the grease work done with the mining.
Okay, let's throw the captain on down here. And where would you like to go, Commander?
I think he dropped.
Oh, yeah, I think he did drop. Ooh.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Blasphemy.
Heresy.
We'll give him a minute. I guess in the meantime,
There
he
he
is
Captain.
back.
Says,
Oh,
I'm back.
hey, he's
Hello.
back.
He lives again.
Sorry about that.
No, you're fine.
I feel like
Anyway, got cut off in mid-sentence since we have so many people on the radiation problem already.
Mm-hmm.
I'll probably actually want to help out in creating the reactor.
Okay. Put you there. Okay, so, Captain, since you are helping out with the mining of the materials, I am going to again ask the important question. Are you taking the Adiona out? It's only a light year away. Very easy to get to this system. Or are you going to send shuttlecraft that way?
I don't think we really need the ship for anything else, so might as well bring the Adiona over there.
Okay.
Get the heavy duty stuff.
Okay. So just for my records, what that means is basically where the Adiona goes, the shuttles are left behind, or vice versa. That way, people aren't dying to radiation if they're interfacing with the ship, kind of a thing.
where's Havoc going?
Havoc is going back on to the derelict. At
That
least
would be
that's
the
what my understanding was.
that'd be reactor or radiation she's dealing with.
Well, Havoc, would it be the radiation or no?
I believe I did state that I would be going into the radiation to try and decontaminate it.
Okay.
But if you think I going for the reactor would be more efficient, I'll do that.
I can do the reactor too. I work field dynamics. So wherever you want me.
I have warp field cybernetics selection. I do have
If we can get an extra
xenotechnology.
if we can get an extra D20 on any of these tasks, that would be preferable.
Yeah, though I do have ancient technology and xenotechnology to give me advantages on stuff to give me focuses.
Can we put Mayweather in constructing the frame since it's sort of like a ship?
I'll put Zava on it. Since apparently when I archived his sheet, it's not unarchiving for whatever stupid reason. Well, that could be a problem. I'll investigate that later. We've had too many tech issues.
So put me on the reactor and Havoc down in radiation.
Okay. If I could grab Havoc. There we go. All right. Is everybody happy with where they are?
Yeah,
I'm never happy, but this is acceptable.
Okay. All right. So I'm just going to be putting dots on people so I know how many days have passed. So let's start with the captain. So, Captain, you and Lieutenant Junior Grade Serpa are going to be mining the minerals from this nearby system to basically have raw materials on hand to create the graviton catapult. I need you to roll me either a control security or a control engineering, or, well, I guess since you're the captain, you really could just do presence command or control command, one of those tasks, and Serpa will be rolling either the security or the engineering.
Yeah, my biggest number is presence command, so we'll go with that. And I'll burn a momentum 1.
You did get quiet again.
Wait, am I still quiet?
Yep, that's better.
Yeah, I've been putting my mouth in it. I don't know if it's going up or down or whatever, but yeah, I'm gonna burn 1 momentum for the extra die.
Okay.
What was the other one? Something engineering?
It would be control engineering.
Survey geology is a focus.
Yeah.
One or the
I guess even reason engineering or reason science would apply here as well.
Okay, so I'm rolling 3d22 total, and Serpa is rolling 1.
You can either do your 3, or Serpa can do the 3, and then you roll 1 to assist, whichever way you'd like to do it.
What's
She's-
Serpa's number?
12 total. She's got a focus though.
Okay, let's give Serpa the 3, and I'll roll the assist.
Okay, interesting complication. All right, Captain, if you could roll your assist. All right, Captain is apparently not very assistive today. But I now have the important question of, are you going to give me threat, or am I taking that complication?
Captain?
Let's give him a threat.
All right, taking the 2 threat. All right, so since Serpa was the one who succeeded here...
Oh, she rolled a 20. Good lord.
Yep. So, Serpa, if you could roll me a 4d20, because it's 2 plus your engineering, and this will represent how much work you're getting done. Hey, look at that. That is a breakthrough. So that goes up by 1. This goes up by 5. And yeah, the difficulty on that is now a 1. But that is 3 days worth of work. So we cut to another thing. And I think I'm going to go back on this and say that it is possible to work on the reactor ahead of time, because you do have to figure out the Muuat technology to begin with. So let's cut to Morgan and Merrick. So Merrick and Morgan, you're in the lab. You're working on deciphering the Muuat technology and recreating it. So my question is, which one of you would be the lead and which one of you would be the assist? The main role here to start would be an insight engineering or an insight science.
I would probably be the assist. I'm probably using my advisor talent to allow us to reroll if necessary.
Okay.
What's the difficulty?
The difficulty is a 4.
We only have 1 momentum, right?
Correct.
Do I use that last momentum? Question.
You can get whatever you want, man. Hopefully we'll generate some when all these rolls are doing.
Basically.
Okay, I'll use the 1 momentum because I got cautious science.
Okay.
Hopefully science will work for me, so. Reason science?
Insight science, because you're just trying to decipher the plans at the moment. Now, I will apologize for what this is probably going to be a dice-heavy session, but this is kind of how you do montages in the system, so... Okay, that's 3 successes, and you do get to re-roll the 0 twice if you so wish. Once from your cautious, and then once from Morgan assisting you.
Sorry, trying to get back to it.
Yeah,
One more try.
Roll. Wow,
Thanks.
2 19s in a row.
Thanks. Thank you, Commander, for the assistance.
You're quite welcome.
And yeah, Commander Morgan, if you want to roll me a presence command, just 1d20. So see if you get an assist here.
Unlucky.
Okay, yeah, so no joy from here. So this next reroll has to be a... Yeah. All right, so we will say for the moment, the 3 days worth of work that the two of you put in, it's not yielding any fruit. There is some element to this technology that is eluding you, probably in the way that it actually uses reflective plates of neutronium to bounce the energy that is created within their reactor core, that you're just not really getting a feeling for at the moment. Yeah.
Commander Morgan would witness a momentary bit of frustration on the Vulcan's face. Damn.
Now, there's no need to get so emotional.
Yeah, you mean his eyebrow moved a bit.
Yeah, that's about right, isn't it?
You're not
Eyebrow
right.
twitches. Wait, calm down.
All right. I think that just leaves Havoc that needs to do a roll here for your 3 days worth of work.
Yes, I actually do need to do that.
So, how would you be going about bleeding off this excess radiation? Would you be using quote unquote standard Starfleet tactics? Would you be attempting to do something specific with the derelict ship? What's the play?
Uh, play.
I had I had an idea. If I could forward it to him.
Sure.
Why not?
An
I'm always open to this.
an anti-tachyon stream from the deflector that would be modulated to produce a resonance so that the power ratio to decontaminate it would be more efficient, less time.
You know, sounds good. Let's go for
Yeah, let's do that.
it. So Havoc, you're going to be rolling a control engineering here. The difficulty is a 4. The resistance is still going to be a 2. But, I believe.
And I believe I do have a focus on this.
One question though is, I would mention though that could cause a danger to anybody on the ship if suddenly we were to increase the radiation being bled from the ship.
That's why complications here are going to mean things.
That's why I mention it.
Hmm. Yeah. I have a focus on this, correct?
You do, but remember you're only rolling 2d20 at the moment.
Yep.
So you would have to get 2 crits in order to succeed here.
Do I have anything to burn on this?
You
No,
do
I do
have your
not.
determination, and you could give me threat for additional dice.
Running party call. Do you think that would be worth or no?
Buying one threat's no big thing, man.
I'll buy one threat.
Okay.
So I would have 3d20.
Okay. Would you like to spend your determination for 2 auto successes, or are you going to save it for a reroll?
Actually, yeah, I'll buy 2 auto successes, so I only need to roll 1d20. And on top of that, I would be able to roll a challenge die to see if I get it back.
Okay. Well, let's
So here's
do the challenge dice here to see if you actually burn it, or if you keep it.
so 1 challenge dice. No, I did not burn it.
Yeah, nice. So you get 2 free
Hey!
successes, and you are
So
rolling 3d20 with a focus, control engineering. And I'm gonna spend some threat here. I'm gonna make the complication range a 17 to 20.
Pray to the dice gods. Let them know mercy. They know mercy.
All right. So that's the 4 successes you need. Is that 0? That 0 is an 18, so that is a complication.
The dice god do not know mercy.
Do you have cautious engineering by chance?
Yes. Yes,
but
I
you bought
do.
it with threat, so
Yeah,
you
I
have to have
did.
bold. Okay.
It is unfortunate, but yeah, if I had been left one thing to burn, I would have been able to get rid of that threat problem pretty quick. But unfortunate.
Sorry.
So
Sucks to suck.
here's the complication.
Oh boy.
Your tachyon stream momentarily increases the radiation, thus increasing the resistance of the problem to 3. But
You hear on the
can now roll
comms,
your,
bloody hell!
you can now roll your 7 challenge dice worth of work to see what happens.
So let's do 7 challenge dice.
All right, so that would be 4 work due to the 3 resistance.
And I have Nick of Time as well.
I believe that means basically vicious 1 on your die.
Whenever you succeed in engineering science tax as part of an extended test, you score an additional 1 work for every effect rolled. This is an extended.
So that would be 9, and that would actually be 6, which is enough for another breakthrough. All right, very nice.
At least somebody succeeding on the rolls here.
Yeah. So, Havoc, after your initial snafu with the tachyon pulse, you quickly correct and realign, and sure enough, using the shuttles, you are able to begin what is essentially a sweep of the ship from stern to bow. Sort of like that one episode of TNG where I think it's a baryonic sweep or something like that. Starship Mine, that's the name of the episode. The one with Picard and the Resistant. It's a good episode.
Yeah.
Go watch it. But
I
yeah.
mean, the one with not Tuvok.
Not Tuvok. Yeah, you're right. Okay. So that is everybody's first 3-day, and that is how the montage does go. And I'm looking at the time here. Let us take our 5 to 10 minute break. And if you guys could be back by no later than 9:45, and as a reminder, I am going to be playing some music through Roll20, so just make sure either you're on push to talk or you don't have your volume up too much. All right,
When I had that one failure, I was like, "Oh no, I've doomed us."
I was just about to like that.
I better get something to eat. I haven't eaten in about 8 hours.
On the topic of South Park and Trey Parker and Matt Stone and musicals and songs, I've wanted to watch the Book of Mormon every single year, and every year I run into some complication, and I don't go watch it. Alright, everybody's disappeared. I'm talking to myself. That's okay.
No, I'm here, but I never really saw it before. Long time ago, I vaguely remember.
It's honestly just kind of comical at this point how like every time I make plans and either 2 weeks or a few days before I'm actually supposed to see the musical, I have to get rid of my tickets for some reason. You know, either some emergency or some other work complication. And that's happened 3 years in a row.
Keep trying. One of these years.
Eventually.
For the stream here. So again, thank you guys for watching and sticking through these tech issues. I think we've got most of the bugs figured out now, but hey, you know, after a month off, what can you expect? Again, as a reminder, in case I either cut it out or you skip ahead through the initial like 10 minutes of tech issues, I do have an open slot here in the Adiona crew. If you are so interested, just go ahead and check out my Twitter, and hopefully I will remember to put a link in this video description on both Twitch and on YouTube. And what else was I going to say? Oh yeah, just as another reminder, the Adiona group here will be moving to an every other week schedule. So they will not be meeting next week, but they will be returning on November the 6th. And I think that's all I have to say, so I'm just going to mute myself for the rest of the guys. And I'm back.
So have you had any luck player searching?
I had a couple apply, but I didn't have time to actually start asking people. So let me actually take a look at how many people have in the dock at the moment.
Well, you might get some people from this particular episode too, right? If you link it.
That's the hope. Let's see. Yeah, I still have a grand total of 2 responses.
You're going to let them take any of the open roles?
Yeah, anything that they're interested in. So what I've said is opened is helm, security/tactical, and intelligence.
What
By
would
the-
I?
By the way, I'm enjoying the other shows on their tangents, especially Dominus's dinner time monologue.
Oh yeah, that monologue was great. I was like, okay, I wasn't aware we were going for an Emmy award-winning performance.
Oh, hush.
Oh, is this something
was-
I need to see now?
Oh, it was really good. You got to listen to that episode.
It
I
was
try to,
the,
but I don't like my own voice. I hate my own voice.
welcome to the party. No, it was so the Arcadia group was doing a Dominion-themed episode, and Galen here was playing the founder, and had a very good speech about how solids were evil and the founders were good.
Yeah, I'm so far behind on both those shows, man. I don't know if I'll ever catch up.
Well, that's kind of the benefit of these little one-shot type things. They're drop in and out. You could just watch them whenever.
Oh, it was a one shot.
Yeah.
It was also very good when you reviewed your the product of your genius, that Jemadar that you have at Tactical. Do you remember you remember when you grabbed him and kind of looked him over a little bit?
Yeah, I like Dominus. He has an interesting focus. He's definitely different from the other founders because of his brutality.
Well, I'll tell you what, is everyone back?
I am. I have a piece of cheese in my hand, but I'm back.
Okay. I heard the captain a little bit ago, so
Yeah, back enough.
is
Oh,
Morgan
yeah.
here?
Yes.
Okay, well that means we can come back a little early. Kill the music, kill the BRB, and we're back. All right, so montage music plays. 3 days pass. You all make excellent progress. Well, most of you anyway. So, the next question I have is, which among you would like to go next?
And let's knock out this mining thing.
Alrighty, so same thing as before. We'll say that at this point it is simply either a fitness engineering or a control engineering or a control security to continue mining the minerals, because you've already mapped them out. You just need to literally shoot the phasers and mine them.
Oh, I'll lead with control security.
Okay.
Gives me a 14, so.
Can I use fitness security
Sure.
with one of my focuses?
Sure, but you would be assisting, because I think the captain's taking the lead here.
Actually, my fitness security would put it as a 14 too, so.
You're better than her.
Okay. Yeah, so let her assist then. And we got no. Actually, I'm gonna burn a point of threat.
Okay.
I have bold security, so.
She's getting tired.
Hey, 2 successes is all you need, because this is a difficulty 1, so you actually get a momentum.
Actually, I'm gonna re-roll one of these.
Do you have bold security?
Yes, I do.
Well, all right, yeah, go for it.
All right.
Hey, 2 momentum total.
Hey,
Nice.
see what the captain does for his crew? CC?
Okay, now I need to rub it in though.
Yeah. All right, so Captain, if you could now roll me 6 challenge die, please. Okay. That is enough to complete the task. So, Captain, using your experience at manual labor and or direction, you are very able to complete the mining operation, and it is at this point that those working on constructing the frame can begin their work. But this task is now completed. And that's 3 days. Let me add a blue circle to you guys. All right. Okay, so which among you would like to go next?
I really want to knock out this reactor. We gotta try again.
Okay, who's taking the lead?
I assume I am again,
Most definitely.
without frustration.
All right, so reminder, it is a insight engineering or an insight science. Difficulty is a 4. You do have 2 momentum this time, though.
I'll use 1 momentum.
Okay. And Morgan, you can continue to assist with probably presence science or presence command, whichever, or presence engineering even.
We'll try present science this time around.
Cool. I'm trying to use presence a lot more. I'm really used to like throwing out reason and engineering, so I'm trying to use presence a little bit more.
Oops, wrong character sheet. Yeah, wrong character sheet, but
I mean, it's a 10, a 12, and a 13. It's enough. So that's 3 successes.
If only I had a focus that was applicable. But unfortunately, I do not.
yeah, I wouldn't hit my focus, but it's 3 successes.
Okay, so hey, that's 3 successes. With Morgan not assisting you, this does mean another failure unless you want to reroll one of those die to try and get a crit.
Gotta do what you gotta do. I will try.
Okay. Is it enough? No, it is an 8. So yeah, day 6 rolls around and you're no closer to deciphering this than you were when you started.
How about I call the emergency science hologram in to assist us?
Okay, you call up Sean Conroy. And how is Sean Conroy going to be helping you?
Connery, we've been stuck on this problem for a few days, so it would be nice to have an additional outside perspective.
Well, let's see what I can do. Hey!
God damn it.
I give him I raise my eyebrow in frustration again.
So, because I think it's funny, Connery would be like, well, you see, lads, the problem here is that you're not bouncing the tachyon waves back in at the reactor. You're actually trying to breathe it off, and that's completely wrong with this bit of technology. You see here, and he launches into a long stream of technobabble that I'm not even going to try to replicate, but you are actually now able to roll some work die. So...
Hilarious. His work die.
Yeah, so I'm going to roll the work die because it's Conray. He's going to be rolling 6 work die. He gets you 7 work done, which is a breakthrough. Very nice.
Applause.
Does he
Hologram
not have
can
we
take
anything
my
switch him
job.
out
to
for
use the
the?
effects
Can we
with,
switch him
or-
out? he's barely the actual.
Oh, good job, Conray. Oh,
Morgan.
you know what?
Does he have any traits to use those effects or no?
He does not, but this is technically the second time we've ever used him, so you guys do have the option of modifying him a little bit. And just so you know, you can either give him a value, which would open up determination for him. You could increase an attribute by 1. You could increase a discipline by 1. You could give him another focus. Or you could give him a talent.
Can you list those one more time? I missed the beginning part.
Sure. You give him a value. You can increase an attribute. You can increase a discipline. You can add a focus. Or you can add a talent.
I'd like to suggest a value since he was sentient at one point.
A talent might be nice though as well. What does the rest of the team think? I'm just bouncing in between value and talent.
Probably a focus would serve us in the long run. Make his rolls count for more. If anybody even heard me.
No, we heard you.
No, we heard you.
There, but at the end, you got a lot more audible.
2 more
Give him a
votes.
focus.
Yeah,
Two
two
more-
more votes.
2 more votes. Let's
What
hear it.
say you, Galen?
What was that, sorry?
What would you be increasing Conray's stats? Because he's a sporting character. It's time to up him some way.
I'll leave that up to the captain and the department head for his division.
Well, unfortunately, we have 5 people and we have 5 votes, so I need a actual decision.
Oh, any of them a talent?
You could give him a talent, yes.
Yeah,
2 votes for
let's see.
talent.
2 votes for talent, 1 vote for value. Captain Morgan, what say you?
Well, I'm still on the talent game.
Oh, right, sorry. I guess Havoc, sorry. Captain and Havoc, what say you?
The captain said focus, so
Okay, Captain's on focus. Havoc?
I'll go with focus.
Focus, so we have a tie. We have 2 for focus and 2 for talents. And as the GM, I'm just going to tie break. So, we'll say 1 on this D2 is a focus, and a 2 will be a talent. Congrats! He gets a new focus. What is his new focus?
What are the current ones?
He has computers, astrophysics and astrometrics, and quantum mechanics.
maybe we should specialize him in the radiations.
I would say neutronium-based technology might be a good play here.
Yeah, that would be a good idea.
Cool.
Let's give him plot convenience, please.
Neutronium-based technology. Done. Okay, so yeah, that good job, Conray. You did your best.
These holograms be taking my job.
They took our jab.
jobs.
I guess I'm moving to Gamma Shift, right?
All right, who's actions next?
Yeah, who's next? So we can either do Zava and Namar. They could start work on the frame, or we could cut to either Havoc or Galen, who at the moment are working independently of one another, but are making good progress on the radiation problem.
Yeah, we can go next.
Okay. So Galen, at this point, your problem is that you need to now, how do I want to say this, enlarge the technology, like deploy it on a grand scale. So this is for you, and again, I'm going to say this to maybe goad you to ask the other person, but I want it to be natural. For you, this would be a daring plus engineering, because this is an entirely new field. And the difficulty, since you've achieved 2 breakthroughs, is a 3, but you still have the 2 resistance.
Alright. So, genetic engineering, xenobiology, biology, cybernetics, anatomy, or macrobiology.
A lot of those would apply.
Excellent. Alright. I'm going to ask Andromeda again, just because I did promise her that I was going to keep this process as secret as possible.
Okay.
So I'll ask her for Andromeda help. I don't have a determination. Okay. So I'm going to spend 2 momentum to get... Actually, no. 1 momentum for cautious, and then momentum threat for an extra dice, if that's okay.
Sure. Just make sure you take off the momentum as needed.
That puts me at 4 dice then. Focus and cautious was already called. We have technically no momentum. Is everyone okay with that?
Go for it.
Go for it. We're burning 2.
Let's do it.
All right, and huzzah! Well, I can re-roll one of those.
Yeah, you can reroll one of them. Also, for everyone's sanity, I have now uploaded a Technobabble chart, which will be very useful.
Ah, damn it.
Yeah, so, unfortunately, Andromeda wasn't able to help you either. So, you run into a similar problem that the science team working on the reactor had, where it's one thing to have an idea of what you want to do, but you are, to borrow a term, trying to turn rocks into replicators.
I'm trying to make PIM particles.
Sort of. But yeah, so that's your 3 days. So let's go to Havoc.
Mm-hmm.
So are you still going to be working on the radiation problem, or have you moved to something else, or have you checked in on another team?
I want to make sure that the radiation problem was fixed up
Okay.
because, all honesty, that could straight up kill us if we're not careful.
Okay, so you're going to be rolling control engineering at this point, because you're just, or I would say even a control plus con would apply here, but I think engineering definitely is your strong suit. And the difficulty is a 3.
Should I try for the determination shot again, or do you think that's okay for me to go without it?
Well, just as a reminder, you do not have any momentum at the moment, so you would have to spend threat to get any extra die, and you need 3 successes here. So if you were to spend determination again, it would give you either 2 automatic successes or a reroll. But you do need to declare the 2 auto successes before the roll if you're going to go that route.
Wait, who's doing this? Havoc?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, since we finished the mining mission, I assume the ship is back.
I would say this is what she's doing during the 6 days you're finishing the mining.
Okay, so I'm out of range.
You know, I'm gonna go for a determination shot again to see if determination remains the hell of a drug.
Okay.
So, 2 auto successes. I'm gonna roll 2 dice as control and engineering to see what else I get.
Okay. Then don't forget to roll your challenge die to see if you keep that determination.
Have I run out of my determination mode? Yes,
Yep.
I did run out of determination, unfortunately.
Yep. Alright, so, hey, maybe your rolls will be better, though. Who knows? All you need is 1 success.
And I get 2d20 on this and a focus. Whoopee! Ah!
So, I'm going to take the complication here. But you do get a momentum, so good job there.
Not worth.
Yeah, you might end up spending the determinate or the momentum you just got to blow through resistance, but who knows? So yeah, same problem. Some part of the covariant field array between the shuttles that's sweeping the vessel is out of alignment, and you have to spend some extra time realigning the modulator to get it working and sweeping properly. So it is going to be resistance 3 again, but you are rolling 7 challenge die. You do have a nick of time, so you have vicious 1. And if you want, you can either spend the momentum you just got for piercing 2, so 2 resistance off, or you could save it to reroll any challenge die you don't like.
I'm gonna go with the reroll of challenge die because I was able to pass the 3 resistance before. I think I could do it again.
Okay, well, let's get the 7 challenge dice on the table and see what we got. All right, so you can reroll as many as you want here.
And I want to reroll the ones that are zeros, correct?
I mean, if
Yeah.
you can, but I've known players who will re-roll that 1-2 to see if they could get a 2, but it's your call.
I just gotta reroll the. So I reroll only 1 or as many as I want.
Many as you want.
I'll reroll the 3 zeros.
Okay.
Oh.
All right, so let me count here. That is 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Reduced to 3 is 8, which I believe is, yes, that is not only enough to complete the work track, but it is 2 breakthroughs. Boom. So, Havoc.
I may fuck up, but I fix that real quick.
Yeah, so Havoc, you definitely, after you fix everything between the shuttles, you kick things into overdrive and you get this problem solved. So, functionally now, the ship, the derelict ship, well, maybe I have to stop calling it a derelict. The neutronium ship, the Muuat ship, is now habitable by any life form. Well, maybe not Tholians, but fuck Tholians. Nobody cares about them.
Oh.
All right, so that I believe that just takes us to constructing the frame. So if someone wants to be rolling for Zava,
I'll go ahead and
Like
roll
to
for
lead
that.
on that.
Oh, okay. Well, it means captain's prerogative.
all
All
right.
right, take care of Daymar for me, or Neymar for me then.
Yep, and this is going to be a patrol engineering or a presence engineering, whichever you would prefer.
For both?
Yep. Good news is it's only difficulty 2.
Control Eng for Zava, but she's only got a 1.
Hey, well, Mars got you a momentum.
Wait, did he roll the assist?
No, he rolled the full die, so
Oh.
it's going to be Zava assisting.
No, that's good. I'd want her assisting.
Yeah.
So. And yeah, I don't think she has anything for this one. So
All right, 2 momentum overall. Very nice. So, Namar, go ahead and roll me 6 challenge die if you could.
Actually, roll challenge that before. How do I do this?
There should be a challenge dice macro, if you know where macros are.
I do not.
very bottom underneath EGMH in the Roll20 thing. Should see a challenge dice thing down there. Or did we have to put it over there? I don't remember.
He has to enable it on his side. He has to check the in the bar option on the macro.
Okay, so yeah, the fourth option in your stuff, that's where all the macros are at. Then you
I
see
see
the
it.
challenge die in the name, and there's a checkbox for in bar.
I do see like the momentum of the cards, but I do not see a macro for challenge die.
So there's nothing above Dex in your macro list?
No.
It's odd. It is visible to all players.
Possibly that I have an add-on that's breaking the actual icon.
I think if it's visible in your in the list, you can still roll the macro from there.
Here, I'll put it in Discord. Copy paste that into your chat, and it should let you roll. It'll obviously ask you how many dice you want to roll, but
That worked. And how many die am I rolling now?
6.
That is strange.
All right. So, do you want to spend any of the momentum you just got to re-roll those zeros?
Yeah, we'll spend one of them.
Okay.
One moment.
Yeah, that's odd. I've got it set to all players, so you should be able to see it.
Maybe if you reload or something.
Oh no, you're just re-rolling your challenge die, not the
Oh, the
actual
challenge
dice.
die. I'm sorry.
No, you're
Yeah,
fine.
yeah, belay that crap.
You can re-roll as many as you want, so you could roll 2 more if you wanted.
Okay, we're gonna reroll another 2.
Hey, 1's all you need. So difficulty goes down to 1. You've done 5 things worth of work. Very nice. All right. So I'm gonna do blue dot. Blue dot. Okay, and now we return to, well, at this point, here's the situation, because I know we've been rolling dice here for a little bit, so let's go back to a narrative. At this point, construction of the frame is going well. Havoc has been able to cleanse the Muuat vessel of radiation, so it is suitable for habitation. Unknown to pretty much everyone, Galen and Andromeda are working on a way to keep the radiation out for good. They're still working on it. They might need some outside assistance, but that's where they stand. As far as the frame itself, it's coming along nicely. It's probably going to take another half a week, maybe a full week. And as far as the reactor that will power this thing, well, thanks to one Sean Conroy, the science team is making some progress, but they're a little bit slower than everybody else.
Bleeding edge science is difficult.
Mm-hmm. All right.
All right, so we assume the ship is now back in the area at this time?
Yeah, at this point, the ship can be in either location. It could. Well, I guess that's another question I forgot to ask. Where would you be constructing the graviton catapult? Would it be near the neutronium vessel, or would it be near where you mined the materials?
Well, I would. Let's see.
I would suggest within the system.
Yeah. Let's see. Well, then again, we're not sure if this thing has a safe distance anyway. But I'll say near the vessel.
Okay. Noted.
Well, the vessel was underway, remember? 1/8 Impulse, was that the star system that it was on a collision course with?
Uh-huh.
And how much time elapsed from when we were on the ship
I would
to where
say
we are now?
at some point it would probably be safe to say that if you wanted to stop the Muuat ship, you could stop it.
Okay.
Just ask Galen. He'd transfer back over.
Okay, so we can construct it wherever we want.
Mm-hmm. Let's just say, for sake of argument, you do it near the Muuat ship. All right. So, if you guys want to do a little bit of our inner RP, I would certainly welcome it. But if you guys want to just dive right back into the montage, we can do that too.
Only reason I'm making note of the ship being back is because now my determination is available should we need it.
True. As long as you can communicate, you can hand out your determination.
Nope, the captain's got nothing.
Chief Petty Officer Namar to Captain Williams.
This is the captain. Go.
I'd like to visit with you, please, for a moment.
Yeah, you know where I'm at. On the bridge.
So I visit the captain on the bridge. Greetings, Captain. Gives a salute, proper salute, or stands at attention.
What do you got for me, Chief?
Well, the construction of the frame is coming well along. All the materials have been gathered from your team that was on the planet. And I'd like to thank you for giving the crew focus and really bringing everybody involved into the construction of this frame. It's given a lot of action to folks in the lower decks that don't generally see a lot of action.
Well, somebody's got to pick up a pickaxe every once in a while. We can't all use phasers to dig.
Would you be so kind as to go around and visit the crew at some point in lower decks and congratulate them on a job well done with the construction and the mining?
Yeah, of course.
Thank you very much. And he's ready to be dismissed.
No, was there anything else, Petty Officer?
I'll always let you know what I have on my mind, Captain.
Sure thing, Chief. Well, if there was nothing else, by all means.
He exits the bridge.
Okay. So I think at this point the way I want to handle it, because I think it'll be better for viewers and for you guys, as soon as I find what the hell I did with the lab. Where is the lab?
That probably blew up or something.
There it is.
I did that. I did that, Captain, because remember you gave that rousing speech at the beginning of our journey.
Oh yeah.
Maybe you want to do something like that again.
Oh yeah.
All right, so down in the lab, the 3 best minds on this vessel. Well, maybe 2.5. Depends on how much you count Conray.
Well, I'm on gamma shift now. I'm not here.
At this point, you are just trying to figure out this neutronium bit of reactor. And Conray's done it a very important first step, but it's still eluding you.
The frustration is obvious on my face.
No, it's not. Come on, really.
Conray says, well, what if we intensified the auxiliary ionic feed as it ran to the grid? I think if it did, we might be able to, well, hold on. And then he pauses and realizes that if you did that, you would overload the reactor and cause a cascading chain of explosions.
Connery, could it be a problem with synchronizing the different reactors of the field?
You know, I think you might be onto something there. And it is at this point that we're going to do another roll. So, do you want Connery to take the lead or no?
Actually, I'm kind of thinking of it. I'll follow the master.
It's been like 6+ days. My vanity, even though it exists, does at the same time. I need to put on a display of professionalism. So I might as well have him take the lead, even if he is going to take our jobs.
I also love that Condry is the ESH, not the EEH, and he's just doing work. Alright, so, Conray, you're doing insight plus science for you. You have now a focus. Do you want him to spend anything for extra die? The difficulty is a 3.
I'll go advise him as a talent. But
Okay.
other than that, I don't think we need to spend momentum.
Okay, well, here's his roll then. Hey, he's got 2 successes already, so one of you just has to assist. So, Morgan, you're doing presence science. Merrick, I don't know. I'm thinking insight science as well, but if you just literally want to pull up some pom-poms and start cheerleading, that works too.
I thought Morgan was assisting. That's what he said.
Oh, no, you both can assist.
Oh, okay. Sure, all right.
Yeah, we need to look useful on the reports to Starfleet. So,
I get a bad report this month.
wow, look at that.
In before 20 from Merrick.
It's okay, since I do coordinate all the department heads. You know, we'll keep this between us.
All right, so hey, got a momentum. All right, Conry, bring us home. He's gonna take a momentum, if you don't mind, to reroll those zeros.
He's got a reputation to keep up now.
All right, yeah, that's enough. So Conry, in his infinite brilliance, as it seems, is able to find out that the problem that was eluding all of you was that the macroscopic positronic field array was containing the osmotic pressure of the reactor. Thus meaning, if you were to, say, synchronize the reactor fields and realign the plates, you could do this. You can create a neutronium-based reactor.
Don't forget the percussive maintenance on the third panel.
Oh yeah, that's vital. If you don't do the percussive maintenance well, then you might as well not do the whole thing.
Mari approves of this.
All right,
Well,
so
it was a team effort.
sure, team quotation marks. Oh, but
I'm
at the
just
end of it,
I'm
Conrad
glad we
just
didn't
looks
have a
around.
complication.
Oh yeah, but Conrad just looks around and says, "Well, that's some fine work there, lads. It's a pleasure to work with you as usual."
Out of character. Dismissed.
Oh.
Next
But
time
yeah.
we send him through time, can he get lost there?
Jeez.
Oh. But I think at this point we're now going to cut to sick bay, where the only remaining extended task is going on. So Galen, again, at this point, it's been, we'll say, 9 days, and you're no closer to deploying the technology as you were 3 or 6 days ago.
I'm gonna call for help from the EEH.
The EEH. Okay, just be aware you are going to be talking to yourself here.
I do that every day.
Okay. All right, just so we're on the same page. So the EEH appears. Go ahead.
Oh, hello, Monty. Doctor? Why have I been summoned to sickbay? Is there something wrong with my program? No, I have a little bit of an issue with some nanobots, and I would like for you to take a look at it. After all, you are an engineer. That I am. And we'll both take a look.
Nice. I'll roll for Monty so you don't have
That was
to.
about what 20 seconds before he fell apart, guys.
Yeah, that's a new
I'm
one.
enjoying it.
Yeah.
After what we saw before, I think a little bit of failure here is fine.
Yeah.
He's no Sam Riegel, but that's not bad for a civilian actor.
Yeah, it's
You
not
need to keep
bad.
going. You're ruining my immersion.
So, daring and engineering again for me.
Yep, still daring and engineering for everyone involved.
I want to take a momentum for cautious. No, I can't do cautious. It's not medicine.
Well, Andromeda feels like assisting today.
But I do have multiple focuses. So I'll do the last momentum and a threat for an extra dice.
Okay.
Let's see.
Monty feels like assisting. Wow. All right. So here's what
Me and
the
Monty.
brain team comes up with here. Apparently holograms, once you give them a kick in the rear, they do good work. But let me figure out how many successes is that for you first. So that is that is a grand total of, holy crap, 4 momentum.
Ooh. So
But
we
yeah.
should be at 4 momentum then.
Yeah. So
Um,
here's the thing. You think you have a way of, quote unquote, painting the hull with these nanites. The problem is that it would have to be the Adiona doing it. It would have to be, well, I guess you could rig a shuttle to do it. Either way, it's going to require some very, shall we say, esoteric uses of the tractor array in order to get a fine, even coat.
What we could do is polarize the hull, and since these are nanomachines, they should be attracted to it. We could also try and get them to slowly shift around so that they make an even coat. Well, you're right. We could do that. It's like how we fix up an injury. We spray around with the medical nanites, and they slowly start to separate and bond with the tissue. And then over time, they grow with the overlapping material, and then they slowly disintegrate, bonding and sealing up the injury. Yes, we could do that. We'll just have to get permission from the captain, and hopefully he doesn't mind the new shade of ship we'll have. That's purple.
Yeah, I will say it is definitely purple.
They'll both just kind of look at the pad for a second, and Monty will good luck. Computer deactivate emergency engineering hologram.
Yep, Monty goes away. So Andromeda kind of looks at you, Galen, and says, well, you have fun with it, Captain. I'm going to be literally anywhere but here. And Andromeda walks out.
And I'll just put the pad down, encrypt the hell out of it, and then transfer my program to the bridge.
Okay, we cut to the bridge. So at this point, I think everybody's returned to their stations on the bridge. And as Galen is wont to do, he just kind of pops into existence to Merrick's left.
Captain.
Yes, Galen. How can we help you?
Just wondering what your favorite pie is.
Apple, you know this already.
Yes, I do. I need to paint the ship.
You need to paint the what?
the ship. I have a proposed plan to help with the radiation. It's going to take some work, but the ship will need to be painted in a thin layer of
Red, right?
some species in their spectrum. Yes.
It's not red,
It'll-
is it?
No, for humans and most humanoids, it'll be purple.
You know that's going to slow down the ship, right?
No, it'll make it more sneaky, boss, says the orc in the back that's been there the entire time.
Oh, so he gets it.
Is that the way it is?
We've
Purple
never-
is sneaky, red is faster?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Holy shit. I've never noticed him in the background.
He's always been there. There's definitely no Q antics going on here right now.
Nah, it's probably just IHA throwing her voice. Anyway, alrighty. Well, it's for the betterment of science, and it's not like I'm going to be looking at it the whole time anyway. So, unless you have any objections, Commander Morgan, I'm going to go ahead and let him do it.
I'd like the time to review the data a little bit more before we proceed.
There you go. Commander Morgan has final approval.
Excellent. I'll also need to bother our chief engineer. She's going to have to polarize the whole plate.
Well, I thought you had this process all worked out already.
Well, from keeping you from inside from leaking out of you, yes.
Look, the chief engineer is good. If you have everything worked out and we approve it, she'll do it. Don't worry about it.
Very well. Commander Morgan, can I see you in sickbay then?
Commander Morgan in the back of his mind still dislikes sickbay. You sure?
I see him grumbling. It's like, Commander, I know you're doing something in the back of that head of yours, but you said you wanted to look it over.
I don't know why we gotta go over it. Okay. Yeah, I'm saying this in my head, and I'm like, yes, Captain. Yeah, sure. Let's head on over
I
to
can see
sickbay,
that
Doc.
eyebrow twitching.
I love that dynamic. Alright, so we cut back to sick bay as soon as I find Morgan's token. There it is. Boom.
I reinitiate the whole entire lockdown procedure. And I go to the pad, decrypt it, and hand it to him. Some aspects of this treatment have been removed and left encrypted, but the application and process and the desired effect is still left visible.
Knock, knock.
There is a chime at the door of sick bay.
One moment. I'll walk to the door and stick my head through it.
You see Havoc on the other side.
Yes?
My arm's twitching.
Talk
I will
about
be with you in one moment. Meet me at the cybernetics lab.
I
crazy.
immediately squint and say, is there something wrong in there?
Yes, there's no cybernetics lab in the sickbay.
True. But didn't we do the scan thing in there before?
We did a scan, but nothing in depth.
Yeah, it's just a twitch. We just have to figure out what's wrong with it. I can fix it myself.
I'll take a look at the cybernetics lab. Doctor's orders.
You try
I'm not
Havoc.
going to let this lie. You know that, right?
Well, you can let it stand, and I'll pull my head back and look to the commander.
I attempt to unlock the door, basically hacking through it.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna say a doctor's level encryption definitely beyond you, because if you could just override it like that, wouldn't be much of an encryption.
True.
Honestly,
I
Morgan,
do not have a big enough sledgehammer for the door, unfortunately.
Morgan is just thinking of a way to get out of sickbay. He doesn't even want to read the pad anymore.
As you
Some
can
might
see
think that's
here-
a little meta-y, but I think it's funny.
As you can see here, Commander, the idea is for the nanites to coat the hull of the ship. They will be able to absorb the radiation, and since Andromeda is able to thrive off it, we believe it should provide sufficient shielding for the crew. We will still go through the standard radiation treatment and the inoculation for everyone, but this will give us the best chance of withstanding, hopefully, the veil. I would still like to do some preliminary tests with some biological components, with a probe we can launch with a smaller coating just to see if it survives.
All of this is still based on the assumption of certain biological elements that actually pre-exist within this galaxy, Doctor. Even though I find it promising, I'm not exactly. I'm unsure how you plan to adapt it for a ship-wide scale.
Well, Monty was able to come up with a nice idea. Polarizing the hull plating will allow the nanites to adhere to the hull. Fill in any gaps, they would leave no space of the hull really exposed. Uh, it will alter the color of the ship to a purple, but even this thin layer can provide enough protection than what most of our advanced shielding can do.
And all of these other reference points to encrypted data files.
Doctor-patient confidentiality prevents me from saying who the donor was.
I understand. Well, it's certainly a tad bit bio Frankenstein, but I accept it. Let's see what lies beyond the veil. You have my permission to proceed.
Excellent. Thank you. I'll take the pad back and re-encrypt it, and release the seals. And computer, where is Chief Engineer Havoc?
I don't know, Havoc, where are you?
I'm already inside the Cybernex Bay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll put the data pad away as stored in a safe location and lock it up. Transfer my program over.
Alright. We're just gonna reuse the map, because, Cybernetics Lab, I only have so many maps.
Basically, you notice my arm is doing a twitch similar to anyone played Wolfenstein: New Colossus, the guy with the robot arm that keeps on twitching and doing things he doesn't want.
Yeah.
It's basically doing stuff like that, but less violently.
Oh, goodness me. I have a question for
You
you,
see
Chief.
why I didn't want this to wait?
Well, you're not choking anyone yet, and if you try to choke me, it's not going to really work. How long has this been happening?
Since I stuck my hand in, well, let's just leave it since I was doing the repairs. With the radiation.
Could be a buildup of radiation. Probably some components have been degraded. Well, let's take a scan, and let's see what we have happening here. Is your arm removable, by the way?
You hear 3 clicks and I pull my arm off.
Nice.
Oh, excellent. Well, let's look at the port in first, and then we'll take a look at the arm. And yeah, I'll do a full scan on Murray.
Okay. I don't know, Mari. You're the one with the injury. You tell me.
You find that the arm is kind of toasted a little. Like I stuck the arm in a very radioactive area for some reason. The rest of me is more fine because of the injection and board game plans holding out, but the arm is pretty fried. The base components are okay, but a lot of the motor systems are kind of burned.
I'm gonna give you a small shot here. It's gonna help boost your just natural functions, just to make sure that your cybernetics aren't taking a full strain on keeping you alive. Your organic sides should be doing some work too. And for your arm, oh goodness, you can see that some of the material's been weathered away by the radiation. Neutron damage. Interesting. Well, I can repair it, but you're not gonna like what I have to say. It's gonna be a couple of days.
We got replacement arms. I built 2 of them already.
I have replacement parts, but I never had a complete arm. If you already have a replacement, though, I'd like to see it and test it before installing it, just to make sure it is functional.
Give me 5 minutes, I'll get you one.
Very well.
Time skip 5 minutes. I bring back basically, it's not as functionally refined as my original, but it is definitely a serviceable arm.
Looks a little crude. You said you made this?
Well, I have to do something on my spare time, especially when I'm being kept awake by the Vulcans sleep talking.
Yeah. Well, let's hook it all up and put it in. And I'm going to transfer some documents over to a pad I want you to read. And I'll hook up her arm and give her a pad.
I start reading the pad. What's in it?
It is the cosmetic guide to aesthetically pleasing looking prosthetics and how to make your new prosthetic.
I literally just toss it behind me. Function over looks, kid.
Well, you can have both, and that's what it teaches you.
Yes, but inside that pad, it doesn't tell you to create storage spaces inside your cybernetic limbs.
Interesting. Well, tell you what. You get this arm all repaired, we'll swap it back out. You let me work on these X-ray placements for a little bit. And have you given more thought about the possibility of more components being removed?
Did they send you the dossier on exactly how extensive the cybernetic replacement the board did on me?
I have the dossier and I have my scans. As I said, I can do a lot of cosmetic work. Some implants aren't necessarily needed in the fashion they're in. If you are interested in it, we can go over options and see what we can do.
There is a long. I didn't click it when I was doing this acting out, but I don't think you get exactly why I keep these pieces of metal stuck to me.
It's a reminder.
Exactly.
You should also learn to move on. These don't
Our
define who you are. Your
They
actions
do.
and your decisions going forward do.
Everything defines a person, even their scars.
If that's the case, I would just still be a computer program. I wouldn't be having feelings. I wouldn't have awareness. But I'm more than my programming now. And you can be more than what they did to you. Don't let them win.
There is a small glimmer of hope, but it's only a small glimmer. It swiftly just disappears, and I would say just get the damn arm on.
Aye, aye, Chief. And I'll hook up her replacement arm for now.
Small twitch of pain, and the arm only has 3 fingers, but I flex them to make sure they work.
Yeah, works fine.
All right.
I'm gonna make upgrades. Take her
I
arm
get
and put it
up
in
and
storage.
I get up and leave.
All right. So, at this point, I have to ask a very important question. I believe you are painting the Adiona. Are you going to be painting the Muuat ship?
Do I have enough for both? And a
Let's
probe?
say, for sake of argument, with enough materials you mined for the graviton catapult to begin with, you've got enough on hand.
Sure.
Okay.
And I want to see if there's any reaction change with like the scientist in me. I want to see if there's any change in its absorption rate of ambient radiation.
Okay. Well, I can tell you that after this painting process is done, so start to finish from when we started this episode to now, I'm going to say probably takes in the ballpark of about 2.5 weeks, which by Voyager standards is way too long, but who cares? Um, so when you coat the Muat vessel with these nanites, you notice a very, very interesting reaction with the neutronium plating. It's almost as if it bonds instinctively to the neutronium, and there is a drastic drop in the ambient radiation in the surrounding area.
Do I have any pieces of armor in sickbay?
Of which armor?
The armor from the inside the ship.
I would say yes.
I'm gonna call Andromeda in.
Okay. Let me mess with some tokens here. So Andromeda comes wandering back in, and she says, yes, Doctor, how can I help you?
I just noticed some interesting results. Can you hold this piece of plate for me, please?
Sure. She
So
holds
I hand
it,
her.
and sure enough, you notice the same effect around her.
Interesting. Can you bond with us in another way? Are you able to actually absorb it into your suit structure?
Tilts her head to the side, looks at it for a moment. Fingertips pulse a distinctive neon purple. And how big is this plate that you gave her?
I'd say like it's one of the breastplates segments from the pectoral region.
Okay. So you see literally before your eyes that this plate not only morphs, but literally changes to be a dagger made of pure neutronium. And Andromeda kind of looks at it and goes, well, I have no idea how I just did that.
I want to take you aboard this vessel. I have an interesting theory that you may be able to adapt to it faster than we can.
I have no objections. Are we going to be taking it back with us when we try to visit these Muuat?
I want to. That's not my decision, though, but I believe with the painting of the nanites that have bonded with the hull, it should be able to survive and not detonate like the original fear was.
Huh? I'm game for anything. What should I do with this?
Keep it.
Noted.
And I'll send off a report to the captain.
And just so I have it for posterity's sake, what is in the report exactly?
The nanites that we've spray painted on the hull of the alien Muuat ship have bonded beyond any expectations I had, and the readings of the ambient radiation have decreased drastically in the surrounding area. My belief is that it should be fine for it to go through the veil in terms of absorbing and not becoming a bomb. And that there may be some symbiosis between the Muuat technology and Andromeda's physiology.
All right, so Captain, you get all that.
And the captain replies, before anybody goes to any shield, we're going to configure a Mark IV probe to go through the catapult as well as that shield, and we're going to make sure there's a transporter target in there for testing to see if we can beam anything out should we need to get anybody back out. Provided the results of that are all positive, then we'll proceed with using a ship. But yeah, I'm not putting anybody through that thing until we know we can go through all of this safely.
All right. I got about half of that, but I got what you want to do.
Yeah, okay, my bad.
Nah.
For the payload, for the probe, I want there to be blood samples of each different species we have aboard the ship, including Andromeda's.
Well, that's what it was a transporter target, which takes care of all that.
Well, remember, the veil is not necessarily like a force field. It's more a result of a cluster of neutronium stars. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm basically making sure we have an emergency beam out procedure that won't melt us if we try to use it.
I'll say this much. As far as any of you are aware, this catapult could be a one-way trip. Because of the sheer distances involved. It's not like you can just like aim this next door. I mean, you're talking about a very significant distance.
Yeah, I know.
Are we confident that the added Adiona's structure could survive or endure the catapult, throwing us across?
I think, and this is probably something I should have said earlier, I mean, Voyager withstood it, and Voyager was fine. So I think by this point you would realize that the reason they used neutronium was A, because they had no idea the stresses that would be involved, and B, it's what they had on hand.
Okay, that explains it.
Yeah. But the point of using the Mark IV is, if anything, once this thing goes through, we can do analysis of it to determine whether it's survivable or not with what we have. So,
well, and I guess that might be on me, but the catapult literally shoots you into the veil, and that is 3,000 light years away.
Yeah, and there's no way we can dial down the shot for testing to make sure it works.
As far as everything, we'll say unless you want to spend another 2 weeks, which you could, I'm not going to stop you if you want to. Unless you want to spend another 2 weeks literally just staring at navigational data and trying to fine tune a reactor you barely understand in the first place, it's probably just going to be the one shot. And you're going to have to hope that you can either QSD out or that there's a catapult waiting to get you out on the other end.
See, the whole problem is, this ship is experimental, so I'm kind of want to play it cautious with risking the entire ship with other experimental stuff. Usually, that throws having a control completely out of the norm. So, if anything else, I would rather send a shuttle or something else like that, not the whole ship.
Okay. Well, let's make a senior officer meeting out of this.
Exactly.
I think this is a very good decision-making moment. So all of you were there, including Andromeda.
I have a wonderful suggestion to solve our issues. Let's take the extra shuttle we have, code it, and send it through the veil with the emergency science officer with the backup armband. Just to see if he goes back in time.
Just
I just look at Havoc.
Just a joke, I'm more expendable.
Well, Andromeda actually speaks up at this point and says, not to obviously tell my ride where to go, but couldn't we just send a diplomatic team along with myself on the Muuat ship? I'm sure they'd be happy to get their ship back.
Or be
considered
happy to
that as
just.
well.
They also could be
Wow.
happy to just shoot everyone on the ship and take it back. We never know what they are.
Well, considering that there are still empty remnants of armor on board the Muuat ship, if we were going to prepare this ship for there's never been a first contact that's been attempted quite like this before. So if we're going to do so, we should do so in a way to make sure we're appearing as non-threatening as possible.
Remember, the Muuat said that they were going to try to return in 2 years after constructing the catapult here on this side themselves. And there was mention that they might actually, it'd take less time for somebody else than inside the veil to find them. Maybe they've tried coming out again.
All right, I'm not sure if there's that much that we really need to decide here. What I'm supposing is we use their ship to go back through the veil. The Adiona will follow using QSD and will arrive later, but that will give you guys time to do any first contact related stuff you need to. Take one of the shuttles and park it inside. That way, in case this ship loses all functionality, you at least have some means of moving around in space that we can try to pick you up with. If we need to cross the veil with the Adiona, we have the ship already prepared and we can do that.
In this specific instance, Captain, since we are dealing with a species that has the ability to manipulate neutronium, I'd much rather take the fighter instead. I understand that probably goes against my wishes of being as non-threatening as possible, but at the same time, I don't necessarily think our weaponry would be seen as much as a threat, and I additionally want the ability to defend ourselves, just in case.
Any objections?
I kind of like Andromeda's mention of a first contact mission, which would be more than a fighter.
Zava just kind of speaks up. I mean, there's room for both. We just would be giving up all our shuttles, save the one that we're not supposed to have in the first place.
Is there room for both on the ship?
Oh yeah, there's more than enough room.
Fine, done.
So I guess the
Couldn't
question
we-
becomes. Oh, go ahead.
Couldn't we use the shuttle we're not supposed to have exactly? If that thing goes missing, it doesn't matter on the books.
Right, but you have to remember the distance involved. You're not going to get a ping back from it for quite a while.
Yeah, I think you said at QSD it'd still take the Adiona a day to follow, correct?
No, longer than that. I calculated it out, and it would take the Adiona approximately a month of QSD to get where you're going.
So what we could do is have 2 shots of the catapult. One that should get into the solar system, past the veil, and the other one just before.
Could do that.
Do we have that degree of control?
I would say it's the difference between 60 yards and 55 yards, but you can't tune it down to be like 5 yards.
Well, that's what I'm saying, because beforehand we mentioned it was just jumping that far, so I wasn't even sure if we had that much control over how much distance we were covering.
Let's say there's a plus or minus of a certain degree that you could finagle, but it is a definite set distance.
Also, the ship can like try and attempt to do a breakup maneuver and break mid catapult.
Yeah, I'm not going to test the Adiona with that. I'd rather just go askew a few degrees and deal with it. Either way, the mission for the other ship doesn't change. Any other points?
I just have one, says Andromeda. Who's going on the other ship?
No character.
I put
I'm
my
gonna
hand up.
send-
I was planning on putting together a team for that, since that seems like an ambassadorial away mission. But you go through your talking points first.
Let's begin. One, you're gonna need someone who is, at the very least, knowledgeable of making sure that this ship makes the ship work. And I'm probably the best engineer you got. So me going along is probably very good. Do you not agree?
If you have more points, then by all means continue. I'm not agreeing or disagreeing yet.
I also, well, I am trained somewhat in medicine. If Glenn is unable to follow us, or if he does want to remain on the ship, that's a moot point. But additional medical knowledge is good. And push comes to shove, I have a pretty good arm with a sledgehammer.
Galen will just look to Havoc and go, Glenn?
Sorry, Galen. Look, I didn't sleep last night. I give a look at the Vulcan at the table.
Sleep is overrated. In any case, I do think that since whoever is necessarily going beyond the veil with me would probably need to be at their utmost peak in terms of engineering knowledge. It's probably best if you do come along. I believe engineering has the ability and the technical know-how to assist the Adiona if any other possibilities, if any other complications come up while attempting to use the slingshot. So congratulations, Mari. Welcome aboard.
Joy.
In any case,
From the
as long
science.
as
Go ahead.
no, by all means, if you have something to say, Merrick.
From the science department, I would recommend Amari. She's archaeology and cultural expert, and take the science hologram along in case you need to activate him. He could be of assistance in technology or some of the aspects of the space. And I would remain here on Adiona.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I already had Anari signed up in my mind for the away mission. Additionally, I would like to bring along, if Galen doesn't object, our nurse.
Yeah, about that. I forgot first. Like, I have a nurse.
Yeah,
You have a few.
we have a few, but they don't get screen time. What better screen time than a first contact mission?
Exactly. Okay, so add a character just so I have the list properly. I have Morgan, who's playing Morgan. I have Havoc, who's playing Havoc. I'm playing Andromeda. Inari, I'm assuming, is what Merrick's going to run.
Yeah.
ESH Connery, also me. Crawford is what Galen's going to run. Who's going to be running Keru? Are we going to leave that to the captain, I guess?
I can do that.
Okay.
How about Mayweather pilot might be useful?
Let me see what my recruitment drive between now and next session is. I might actually have someone specific for that.
Cool.
Okay, so those are the NPCs and PCs that are coming along. I also have one shuttle and the Valkyrie attack craft. Am I missing anything?
No, that sounds complete to me.
Okay.
Fill out your will, Havoc.
Making
Do
sure
you
we
think I
arm,
haven't done that already?
making sure we arm both the Valkyrie and the shuttlecraft with the appropriate amenities. Obviously, an extra set of inoculations since the Adiona is going to take a month or more to catch up with us. Potentially, we need to make sure we have the ability to, of course, survive there on the other side.
Okay.
So making sure we have enough supplies necessary.
All right. So let's do this then. I think that is, unless the captain wants to say, no, we leave now. Let's end the session there because I think it's a good bookend. You will start the next session with you guys actually going through the catapult, and it will also give me time to try and find someone to go with you from the helm perspective. But yeah, so reminder, anyone watching on Twitch or YouTube, again, apologies for the tech issues, but we made the most of it. Reminder that this group will not be meeting until November the 6th. So players, stick around for just a little bit more, but anyone watching on Twitch or YouTube, thanks so much, and see you on the 6th. Bye-bye.